answers or next step is nudging me along through this inquiry into will, which is just from the onset a really powerful proposition, consideration, force to reflect upon. And in the most immediate sense of will, we might kind of like bump into some anxiety or shame or misgiving about, the shortcomings of our will, or maybe we didn't live into our values of virtue, or we think we should be some other kind of person, and if we just will ourselves to be that person, then we'd be happy. I mean, there's many faces to this will, and I've also proposed a more universal or cosmic sense of will, one that informs the flowers to spring and the planets to orbit just so, is the impetus behind your in-breath and your out-breath. So this will exercises itself in many different ways, and it's a deep reckoning for the human being. Just this last winter, I went to, or New Year's, I went to Mount Madonna Center for yet another yoga retreat there, just sort of an annual custom. And for the first time, I felt that I had some understanding of the glue that sustained the project called Mount Madonna Center, or the teachings of Baba Haridas, that's holding space for the teachings of Baba Haridas. What's the underlying glue that's held so many enterprises together? So it's Mount Madonna and the Ayurvedic or apothecary. There's a school there. There's Sri Ram Orphanage in India. Not to mention, the in-depth teachings of yoga, in addition to running Sankat Mochan Hanuman Temple, satsang in Canada, and so many kind of moving parts of this yoga enterprise called Baba Haridas's example, and all the pieces that have emerged from there. Like, what holds all that together? And believe me, there is a number of characters who show up on the scene. All of them are, sons of senators down to, counterculture icons are all within the fold of this magnificent project. And it wasn't until this this most recent retreat, that I kind of stumbled on what has been hidden in plain sight this whole time, is that Baba Haridas led with, yes, will, but coupled will with a very important idea, which is aim. Aim. What direction is our will or willfulness pointed? This is a potentially life-changing question or reflection. Certainly plenty of examples of aiming one's will, in a destructive direction. I can think of examples from my own life. Being addicted to gambling. I personally wasn't addicted to gambling, but that's one application of will. Or more, constructive directions, such as positive development and self-development, yoga practice, and both of which are nourished by the power of will. But the difference is wed to this idea of aim. So aim. And Baba Haridas proposed that the aim is an all-encompassing aim, is peace. That the aim of their whole enterprise, the aim of yoga, the aim of every interaction, potentially, is peace. At some point during the retreat, there was a reading in which he said he kind of woke up one day and A, decided his aim was peace, and B, to remove everything that wasn't that. Anything that veiled or obstructed or distorted or, confused the bearing on peace. And as a teacher in the US, he held space and taught, Tantra, he taught Yoga Sutra Patanjali, Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, ancient Vedic Pujari science, counsel, how do you live in a community, all these things, so many things. And the glue that held it all together was a shared appreciation, orientation towards this idea. This is one ideal, this one virtue of peace at the center. And, many remarkable things came out of that focus. So for you, the bullseye may or may not be peace. I mean, it's good enough for me. I'll take it. I'm kind of all in enough at this point where I'm not going to question the value or validity. But a reflection for us all certainly is like, what is our what is our aim? What is our aim? And how universally sustainable is it or isn't it? Pursuit of pleasure could be an aim, and it is in many ways. It's one that I come back to on a daily basis. But I don't think it's kind of the holy grail of fulfillment, Anyhow, so in our practice this evening, we'll be looking at this kind of principle of aim, holding space for aim, and moreover, kind of abiding more fully into appreciation of peace or realization of peace. Okay.